may make fun of you.
మరి ఇంత బాగా చదువుకున్నావు, ఈ టౌన్లో పుట్టావు, ఈ టౌన్ వాతావరణాన్ని అనుభవించావు, నువ్వు పల్లెవాడి వల్ల దేవుడు దేవుడు భజన ఈ రకంగా ఎందుకు పోతున్నావు అని కొంతమంది ఆశ్చర్యపోతారు కదా, వాళ్ళు ఇంట్లో బాధించుకు రావచ్చు.
Some may make fun of you, they may heckle you, say that you are born in the metropolis city. Why do you entertain the rural ideas and rural thoughts?
ఇదంతా గోడ మీద కాదు.
It's not sign of modernism.
దేవుడు దేవుని చింతించకూడదు.
Don't think of God.
దేని చింతించాలి?
What is that we should think then?
దైవాన్ని చింతించాలా?
Then should we think of the demon then?
కాదు.
No.
దైవాన్ని చింతించాలి.
We should think of God.
అప్పుడు నీవేం కావాలి? నీ విశ్వాసం గాఢంగా ఉండాలి.
You should have strong faith.
అయ్యా నేను ఎవరు చెప్తున్నావు?
Sir, who are you telling?
నాకు చెప్తున్నావు.
You're telling me.
ఎవరు లేడని చెప్తున్నావు?
Whom are you denying?
దేవుడు లేడని చెప్తున్నావు.
You're denying God.
దేవుడు నీకు లేడు కానీ నాకున్నాడు.
You may deny your God, but I have my God.
నా దేవుడు లేడని చెప్పాను.
Who are you to deny my God?
నీకు దేవుడు లేకపోతే నీకు దేవుడు లేవు.
You may deny your God.
నాకు దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు.
I have my God.
ఆ దేవుడు నేను చింతిస్తున్నాను.
I think of my God.
నీకు ధైర్యశాస్త్రంతో వాళ్ళు ఎదుర్కొన్నప్పుడే నీ యొక్క శిక్షాలకు అభివృద్ధి
You should have the courage and conviction to declare I have my God.
అంతేకాని నీకున్నటువంటి దాన్ని ఇంకెవరో వచ్చి దేవుడిని నీకు ఎందుకు విశ్వసించాలి?
Why do you follow others? Why should you listen to others when they deny your God?
ఎవరో ఒకరు వచ్చేసేసి అయ్యా నీ అమ్మ లేదు అంటే మాకు అమ్మ లేదా అని ఏడ్చకూడదు.
If anyone says you have no mother, you should not cry saying that that fellow is a fool.
తల్లి ఉంటుండాలి.
I have my mother.
నా తల్లి ఇంటిలో ఉంటుండాలి. చెప్తున్నాను మరి నాకు దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు, నా దేవుడు నా హృదయంలో ఉన్నాడు. ధైర్యంగా వాటితో వాదించడానికి కొనుక్కోవాలి.
You should be ready to argue with all the courage and conviction.
వారు నీతో ప్రవేశపెట్టుకోవాలి కానీ నీవు మాత్రమే ప్రవేశించుకో.
You should make others to follow you. You should not follow others.
నీవు వారిని ఫాలో చేస్తే నీవు స్లేవ్ అయిపోతావు.
If you follow others, you become a slave.
Share Om Sri Sai Ram. Om Sri Sai Ram. Our humble salutations at the lotus feet of our Lord Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Saram. Please settle down. Yes. We have a very important program item next. Saram, yes. Many years ago, I went to a conference. And the interesting thing about that conference was that it was held in a hotel where of all the places, the ground floor was a casino. And what was the relationship of the conference with the casino? None. The conference was in IT data management, whereas the casino, of course, was casino. It was a ploy, actually, it was a ploy by the hotel people and organizers to induce whoever came to the conference to spend some time in casino, to spend some money so that the organizers will have some money. And in the minds of the organizers, that everybody will have fun, good time. You know, we all know as Sai devotees, that is not the definition of fun or good time for us. Our fun or good time is always spending time in such a retreat. As I was coming in the morning here, like all you have probably come, I was seeing this very serene and very beautiful campsite again in the morning at 6 o'clock, and one can see the difference. One can see the difference of such a beautiful place, how it raises our awareness, how it makes us closer to the divinity, one step closer to the divinity because of the vibrations that you feel here, because of the very serene and solemn sight that is Swami has made us ready. Through this, all the volunteers who have worked tirelessly over the last several weeks, and specifically over the last 5 or 6 days, where you can see that this campsite has been converted into a very, very beautiful retreat site. In fact, ashram-like site. In fact, for all purposes, this is our Prashanti. This is our Prashanti Nilayam, our spiritual capital of our region for the next 3 days. Agreed? Yes. Yes. All the kudos to all the volunteers, Sevadals, who have worked to make this site, this beautiful, this spiritually uplifting. Well, if you stretch your imagination a little further, you can imagine yourself coming through the Ganesh gate as you are entering through the front gate. If you are here, this devotional hall is like Kulvanta Hall. This is Kulvanta Hall. Your dining area where probably many of you went for the breakfast, very sattvic breakfast. Everything that you eat here is sattvic. Okay? It's just a guarantee. Okay? Doesn't matter what are the ingredients, it is sattvic because of the vibrations. It is the South Indian canteen, the North Indian canteen, the Western canteen, all all the stalls that you see in Prashanti, all combined into one. Okay. That is our dining area. We have Swami's interview room just here. You can go and have one-to-one conversation with Swami. We have registration office, accommodation office. We have all the cabins, North Block, South Block, East Block, East Prashanti, West Prashanti, everything is here. Okay. Plus, of course, you will see that the schedule is also almost a duplicate of what goes in Prashanti. Those of you who have read or heard Swami's stories or Swami's experiences from 40s and 50s, from that time, you will remember. Some of you who are very senior here might have been even then, that time, have seen how Swami used to personally stay, wait for devotees crossing the river of the Chitravati. He will personally welcome them, personally take them to the ashram, even make them coffee and make them comfortable. Many of those devotees would be staying under the tree, very happily staying under the tree because of the very close sannidhya that they were getting with Swamis and out of the love there. Our Sevadals, our volunteers here, are those Swamis. Everybody is Swami, but they are doing what Swami used to do during those times. They are here to welcome you in the parking, to take care of your luggage, to make you comfortable in whatever way they can. Whatever need that you have, our Sevadals are here. Our accommodation office, there is a service desk, there is a help desk. You can go with whatever concern that you have, whatever need you have. Our Sevadals will help you in every way. They are our Swamis. Of course, we are not asking you to stay under the tree here. We have proper cabins like our Prashanti. No need to stay under the trees like the devotees that time. Okay. In fact, the closest thing that you can come to a tree experience at all, if you have chosen to sleep under the upper bunk, maybe if you have climbed a tree in your anytime, going to an upper bunk in the cabin is closest thing to that tree experience when you have climbed a tree. That too, if you are opted for it. Other than that, there is no need of any physical adventure here. This place is for spiritual adventure. I talked about devotees crossing the river waters of Chitravati. We have some waters here. Okay, we have this lake here. No need to cross that, of course. Okay, because that is like going backwards. Okay, because we are already here in Prashanti. If anybody wants to do any physical adventure by going to the waters, there is no need. Because everything is here. There are some wooded areas as well on the top of our campsite. There are those forest areas. The trees, the plants, the animals living in those areas, they are very content and happy. They are not looking for our company there, okay? So, you don't need to venture there. Also, there is this main road here that you probably come across. There is no need of parking there. Please avoid parking on the main road, as I have been told. And any SSC children here, if at all, they are actually requested to be in the SSSC that building. So all of you, please, if your parents are here, if volunteers, SSSC volunteers here, you will have to go there to your building. Our morning, this morning, again, as always, began with a bang. We had very, very melodious Nagar Sankirtan, Suprabhatam, also of course our very powerful Vedam chanting. And we just finished our very soulful, very melodious bhajans. Everything very, very uplifting and divinely vibrating. But this is just the beginning. We all know that. Okay. Howsoever good it is, Swami has always told many, always good things during the next 3 days that we are here. We have 3 unique guest speakers, very special guest speakers, one for each day for the next 3 days. Talking about the schedule. We have more than 15 workshops for the next 2 or 3 days with young adults having their separate program, SSSC, Bal Vikas children having their separate programs. We have 3 cultural offerings, one by our Bal Vikas children, that is SSSC children, one by our young adults, and then tomorrow there is one by adults and young adults combined. We have, of course, as you all know, more than 6 bhajan sessions. We also have, as mentioned, separate schedules for young adults that you will see. And all of these interspersed with more than 8 meals, all sattvic meals. And let's not forget our usual sattvic pakodas. That also will be here. We are all here, now I know we are all here for spiritual nourishment, but we are also making sure that physical nourishment is also part of it. Okay. So, everything is taken care of. We have a very intense schedule here. All 100% participation is all that is required. And everything Swami is going to take care of us. Our next item is, of course, to take us to a still bigger level, next level, bigger height. He is our guest speaker. Our speaker has come all the way from India. He is a former Bal Vikas graduate. I mean, he's a Bal Vikas graduate who is former Bal Vikas student. He's a former science student. He's also taught in Swami's Institute as a lecturer professor. Currently, he serves as the professional tax advisor. And his teaching engagements has taken him to many institutes around the country as well as abroad, around the country of India and abroad, including the prestigious Institute of IIM, that is Indian Institute of Management. He is also a dramatist, a very soulful bhajan singer. He has represented the state of Madhya Pradesh in cricket as well as in other sports. So you can see our all-rounder, multi-talented speaker has not left any field untouched. His speaking engagements, both as a SAI representative, has taken him to many places in the world, as well as his teaching engagements also has taken him to almost all the places in the world. Today, that place includes one, that is our retreat. And we are very grateful to Swami that Swami has brought him here. We are very appreciative that he has included us, our retreat, in his schedule. And with that, let me welcome and introduce and present our speaker, keynote speaker, guest speaker for today, Brother Tribhuvan Sachdeva. Jai Ram.
Sri Sai Ram, offering my most grateful salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved God, who is very present with us at this very moment. And why do you say that? He's present with us, dear brothers and sisters. We come to that. So first of all, let me pay my heartfelt gratitude to Bhagwan for permitting me to come down here and share this beautiful morning with some beautiful Sai experiences with all of us. Respected Brother Pradosh, who's been instrumental in getting me here. other office bearers, dear brothers and sisters. When we say brothers and sisters, do we really mean it? Or is it an offering we say brothers and sisters? Because I must say something. I mustn't say ladies and gentlemen like most of the people do. So we say brothers and sisters. So Swami, who's residing in everybody's hearts, he knows whether we really mean honest enough to say brothers and sisters and have that feeling. So I'm reminded of a very beautiful episode with Swami, that during the Dasara times, when the Veds of Yagnam would go on, there would be a lot of speakers which Swami would, kind of tell the students to come and speak. And everybody would start very gracefully with my dear brothers and sisters, and then they would go on. And that very evening, Swami came on to discourse, and he said, all the speakers before me, those were all his students whom he had asked to come and speak. He said, all those speakers who have come before me, they address you as brothers and sisters. But do they really mean what they say? Do they really treat you as brothers and sisters? So there was a big question mark and a lot of silence in the whole gathering. You can imagine in the Purna Chandra auditorium with more than 10,000 people sitting and pin drop silence. And then Swami says, if all these speakers who really say brothers and sisters, would they be willing to share their properties with everybody? Would they be willing to share all what their father left them? And probably with everybody, because if you say that you are brothers and sisters, you should be willing to do that. A big question mark again. Those of them who had not spoken, they were wondering what are we going to address tomorrow. But then after having said, a big question mark came. So one of my brothers who got a chance, he didn't know what to start his speech with. If he says brothers and sisters, Swami might call him up. Are you really meaning it that way? So, people think that we can outfox Swami and we can outthink Swami, we can outwit Swami. So one of my brothers came onto the dais and he said, fellow pilgrims to the path of spirituality. So, well taken. And then came Swami's turn to speak. And Swami said, see, yesterday itself I said, you guys don't mean brothers and sisters. And see the live example, the next speaker who comes here, he says fellow pilgrims. He did not have the conviction to say that yes, brothers and sisters. So you must have the conviction. Just because Swami tells you that you don't feel that way, doesn't mean that you should stop feeling it. It should be brothers and sisters only. Then one of my friends who was there, from whose I heard from this anecdote from him. So he said, what is the wealth which Swami mentioned about sharing with all the brothers and sisters? Is it that worldly belongings which we have that Swami wants you to share? Is it that property which my parents have left for me that I should be sharing? Is it the wealth I have accumulated which I would be sharing? He said, no, neti. This cannot be it. Because Swami itself says, if you start sharing your wealth with everybody, so then that is, you are creating a disbalance in any case in society. What you are supposed to do it is, give it for a good cause, for a school, for a hospital, for Narayan Seva, for things which would upgrade the downtrodden people, which will give you that feeling of happiness, rather than showing off to people how much wealth I have accumulated. So then, which is that wealth Swami is talking about? And my brother here said that it is the wealth of those experiences which Swami has given you. It is the wealth of the time spent with Bhagavan, which he has given to you as students, as teachers. That is the real wealth which your heart has. So share it with everybody. Go and speak to everybody from the mountaintops, from your hilltops, and say that you have had the good fortune of witnessing Bhagavan as he was. He has made you what you are today. We were nothing. He has touched me and I have grown. That is the feeling all of us have felt throughout our lives. So when I say brothers and sisters, I do really mean that here, this instance, that yes, So here I am, halfway across the world, to share a few good moments, share a few anecdotes which will hopefully motivate all of us. I do not know whether it will motivate us, it would help us, it would direct us. But Swami has said, remember, when you think of me, I am thinking of you. So all of us are here in this satsang and we are going to be thinking of Bhagwan. So imagine our good fortune, Swami would be thinking about us at this moment. So we are so lucky, Bhagwan. You have said us and given us this formula of happiness. Think of me and I shall think of you. So here we are. So let's start on this small little journey of spending those beautiful moments which I would like to share with you, which I feel are my personal wealth which Bhagwan had given. And as I started, I said Swami is verily with us. Why did I say it? A very old-time devotee who had guided me during my Bal Vikas days, he said that Swami had once said to me, do you know the God's telephone number? We said, we do not have God's telephone number. In those days, there were no mobiles, there were only landlines, and you had to dial with your hand and cut, and then cut, and then the numbers would get dialed. I'm talking of the early 70s. And what did he guide? Do you have God's telephone number? Would you like to speak to God? And I, like a Bal Vikas student, an enthusiastic person which I was, I said, yes, we all want to know God's number. He said, God has a very simple telephone number. 3 Omkarams. When you do 3 Omkarams, the first Omkaram you do, Swami immediately leaves from wherever he is. In the second Omkaram, he arrives at wherever you are sitting. And in the third Omkaram, when you chant, Swami takes his seat which you have given to him. So when you chant 3 Omkarams, you are connected directly with God, you are directly with Sai. So you all chanted Omkaram thrice before the bhajas began. And that's why I said Swami is there verily with us. So we are blessed. We have to open our inner chakshus, our inner eyes to experience that divinity, to experience that bliss. The theme of our conference is love gives and forgives. So, love lives by giving and forgiving. So, if you look at it, there are 3 very important words which Swami has given to us. One is love, second is giving, and third is forgiving. Love is something we always want. Giving, a little difficult aspect of our persona. And forgiving, well, I must be always forgiving. As far as I am supposed to forgive, that's my prerogative. That's what we think in our lives. But then Swami doesn't feel that way. Swami has come to give, give, give. And what does he give first? He gives you love. If I am to ask every single person who's present here, why are you still attracted with Swami? So everybody would say that other than the miracles which first brought me closer to Swami, it was his love. It was his unflinching love for me. I did mistakes, but he readily forgave. I did errors, but he was always there to welcome me with open arms. I had so many flaws in my character, but he was willing to overlook them because one little thing I had in my heart was that seed of love. And that seed of love is what Bhagwan wanted to cultivate in all our hearts. And Swami stands for love alone. And what kind of love we have all experienced in our hearts, that in spite of the presence of Swami's physical form, we still feel his presence. What greater good fortune for all of us that we are living in an era that we are all contemporaries of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Do you know that possibly what is going to happen after we leave our mortal coils? What will our children look up at as? You know, long back ago, I had an opportunity to go to Shirdi. So there was a pujari, you know, in those earlier days, before, it was just the time when the movie had come, Shirdi Ke Sai Baba, and people were just getting to know about Shirdi Baba. In fact, you know, when one of those persons who had directed and made this movie, he had approached Swami and he said, Swami, I want to make a movie on your life. Swami said, what you are going to make a movie on my life? First make a movie on my earlier avatar. Let the whole world know about me. Then they will automatically come to me. So that is how the movie of Shirdi Ke Sai Baba came into being. The devotees of Bombay got together and they made this movie, which was probably the biggest hit of its time, and lots of people got to know about Shirdi Baba then. So once of these opportunities, when we went to Shirdi in the early 70s there, and those were the times you could park your car outside and walk in. There were hardly any people. And I noticed there was a pujari who was offering arati to Bhagwan in the evening. And there was one more person who was also helping him and assisting him. Even when the arati was over, he took that flame and started walking out through a door. And I was a little inquisitive to see where this person was going. And he got out, crossed the lane, and across the lane was his house. And with that same arati which he had offered, he was offering arati to an old man with a pagadi whose photograph was kept on the wall. And as he was wondering, I was thinking that probably it must be one of those contemporaries of Shirdi Sai Baba, or must be one of those real great devotees, or some great soul. So after the arati was over, I just went to the Panditji and asked him, I said, sir, who was this great person whom you were offering this arati after, or offering the same arati to Shirdi Baba first? He said, oh, this person, he's my father. Oh, I said, he's your father? He must be a very great soul. He said, yes, he was a great soul. He lived with Shirdi Baba. You know something? He had seen Shirdi Baba. He walked with Shirdi Baba. Baba talked to him. So after offering the arati, I offered him that he is such a great soul to have lived and seen the avatar of the age. So a thought struck me. Imagine how lucky all of us are. We have also seen Baba. We have also witnessed him. Imagine that after we pass away, probably, if we have done some good deeds and we've been a role model, even our children are going to place our pictures and they might say, oh, we are so lucky that our parents had witnessed Baba. They had seen Swami. They had spoken to him. They had been blessed by him. Imagine, this is the kind of level all of us are. And we don't know our good fortune that we have been contemporaries of Bhagwan, who has chosen to bless all of us. So when it comes about love and giving, I have a very beautiful anecdote to share with all of you. But then, Swami, who's virtually representing love, virtually and physically, throughout his life, Swami would say that love has a boomerang effect. Love has a boomerang effect. What's a boomerang? It's an Aborigine weapon used by the Australian Aborigines there. And if you hit it, it goes and hits the target and comes back to you. So Swami says sometimes love has a boomerang effect. That when you hit somebody with love, that force comes back to you. Normally what happens, when you give money, it gets reduced. When you share your wealth, it gets reduced. But Swami says when you share your love, it multiplies and it comes back to you in so many more factors. And Swami said, why do I love all of you? Because I have divided myself into so many people here so that I could love myself. Oh my goodness. I've never heard anyone speak like this, that I have divided myself in so many souls so that I could love myself. But Swami truly represented it, because those of us who were fortunate to have his darshans, to have a few words with him, we have witnessed that love. And we have seen how Swami's genuine love was there for all of us. How much he cared for all of us. And Swami said, we are all taught, especially some of us, we are all taught that whatever is precious, hold it and keep it. If we make some gold jewelry, we wear it during our wedding times, but then we hold it and we keep it in a locker. Oh, to be used only on special occasions. When we have something expensive, we want to show it to everybody, but then we hold it. But Swami says, love is not a feeling which needs to be hoarded. It needs to be divided so that it can spread around so many. Imagine, earlier, there were very few people who knew this factor, but Swami loved us. He touched us. And now we understand that when I also share a little bit of my love with everybody, there are so many more people who are going to be spreading that love. Maybe somebody goes and takes that love and shares it with his family. The family goes and shares it with the neighborhood. The neighborhood goes and shares it in the total vicinity. And then you find suddenly that the whole city is wanting to love each other, wanting to help each other. That was the basic factor with which Swami wanted to teach us this most important lesson. You know, when we were students, it was a great good fortune for us that on many occasions we would go to Swami and ask him, Swami, please come to the hostel. Hostel was a second home as we would treat for Swami. The first home used to be Prashanti Nilayam, and our hostel was a little far away. So we would pray to Swami, and invariably, whenever we would tell Swami, Swami would say, no, I'm very busy. It is Dasara, it is birthday. So many devotees have come. What do I come and do in your hostel? You guys are anyway not listening to all what I say. And you know, with some pretext, some excuse, he will not want to come. Then we would go around, plan, take the warden's permission. Then one fine evening when Swami would come out, we'd do a gherao. We would go all around him, and then somebody would catch hold of his hand, somebody would catch hold of his feet, somebody would, tug at his robe, how a child would do to his mother, and say, Swami, please come to the hostel, Swami, please come to the hostel. And then Swami would ultimately relent, as he would do like a loving mother to his children. Okay, when do you want me to come? Swami, whenever you come. Okay, Sunday it is, I will come at 4 o'clock. So this is how it would happen. So, now, it was Dasara time, and during Dasara time, it was the Purnahuti day of Dasara. And on the Purnahuti day, we were all students were sitting, singing bhajans in the Purna Chandra auditorium. And all the VIPs, the special guests, they were being escorted into the Purna Chandra, either by the then manager, Mr. Kutum Rao or Mr. Chiranjeev Rao. And the special people were being escorted, and then they were being shown a place to sit. So then we noticed there was one gentleman, a very frail-looking gentleman with a new silk dhoti and a new silk angavastram, who was escorted and made to sit ahead of the students. So we thought, oh wow, must be some great devotee. We thought probably one of those priests who Swami would wanting to be officiating in this yagnam. It must be him. Anyway, we didn't take much notice of it. And soon after the Dasara got over, the ceremonies got over, the students performed on the last day of Dasara in the evening, and Swami was very happy. There used to be a jhula ceremony. The students would sing, and Swami was made to sit on a jhula, and we all had the good fortune of, pushing the jhula a little bit. The elders in the ashram would come and do it, the central trust members would do it, and some of us also would, kind of quietly get in and get a chance to push the jhula. And those were some beautiful moments when Swami would sit in that blissful mood with all his children singing, and he would be enjoying that whole affair, and there would be some professional singers sitting in the crowd, but he wanted always his children to be singing. So that day got over, and next day to Dasara, Swami called the warden early in the morning, and after Dasara, as you know, the crowd starts to disperse and we go to our college, because those 10 days we have a long time with Swami, no college, no studies, nothing, just Swami, Swami and Swami, morning, afternoon, evening. So, after 10 days were over, like all good things come to an end, so we had to start going to our college. So that day, Swami called the warden in the morning and gave him some stern instructions. So, soon after we came back for lunch. After the lunch, an emergency meeting was called, and the warden came very sternly in front of all the children. And he said, my dear boys, this morning I was summoned by Bhagwan, and I went there, and Swami has asked and commanded me to tell all you boys that when you come in the afternoon, you must all ask me to come to the hostel. I said, what sir, come again? Swami has commanded me to ask all you boys to pray to me and ask me to come to the hostel, and I want to come to the hostel. I said, wow, what would a blind man want if he's been given eyes? And here it is, we used to pray to Swami, we used to ask him on many occasions, and here Swami is saying, ask the boys to ask me. So all it was planned. Some of our senior students sat in the front. Some of those boys whom Swami was fond of talking to, they were also made to sit with us. Some other children came along. The lecturers sat at the back so that in case they get an opportunity, they will catch hold of Swami there. And if in case we are unable to catch hold of Swami when Swami comes out, 4 o'clock it was, and click, the the silver door opened and out walked Swami. And as we had planned, because now we had the divine permission to invite him. We did not feel scared, we were not worried. We all got up, Swami, Swami, we want, hey, Uddura, sit down. Swami made. Kya natak karta, told some of us. What is all this drama you're doing? I only asked you to call me. And you are planning great things. Zara, we'll catch hold of Swami, you catch hold of his arm, I will catch hold of his feet. And if he doesn't relent, you start crying. And Swami said, all what you are discussing, don't I know all this? I only told. So when do you want me to come? I am wanting to come to the hostel. He said, Swami, tomorrow itself could be a good chance. Yes, tomorrow is a good day. I will come to the hostel. You make preparations, you clean your hostel, and I'm going to get a wonderful singer to come and perform for all of you. Wow. The cherry on the top. When Swami would get some guest with him to the hostel, that means that guest is very close to Swami. And you know, prior to this, Wall had come to our hostel. Cricketer Sunil Gavaskar, Pandit Ravi Shankar, Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma. These are the people Swami would escort to the hostel. He would show around his second home, as Swami would say. He would show around his children and he would feel so happy like a mother would do. And next day, we all worked hard, made the hostel spick and span, clean. Even we opened up our rooms, made our altars beautiful with pathways built for Swami and roses strewn on the pathways, so that if Swami goes by and he decides to come in this corridor, if he passes my room, he should know this is the picture. So all of us kept our cupboards also open, where we had Swami's altar with all, flowers and everything. Like all the childish people, we would do, small children, to make Bhagwan happy. So that we know, we wanted to tell him that we love you, Lord, and we are so happy that you're coming to our home. So that was the feeling all of us had. And again, at 4 o'clock sharp, Swami's car moved in, and Sai Gita, who was opposite the school, opposite our hostel, she started getting excited and shouting. She would always shout when she could hear Swami's car start in the mandir. We couldn't, but when we would hear Sai Gita getting restless, all of us knew that Swami has started from the mandir. That was the deep connection with that animal which Swami had. I think that animal was a great soul. We call it an animal, but we were animals if you look at it, for her devotion. That was the kind of devotion Sai Gita had for Swami. Imagine if the Benz car would start in ashram, she would know that my Lord is coming. That was the devotion. I mean, this is the pure devotion. So we understood then why Swami had given Sai Gita such huge ears. She made quite good use of it, and that worked as a signal for all of us. And that evening, Swami came, he waved Sai Gita because he had an appointment with all his children. And there we saw that same old man on whom we had witnessed on the Dasara day, who was made to come and sit, again with a very new silver, a new silk dhoti, a silk angavastram, but he was looking frail and a little sickly. And we thought, we didn't know who he was standing outside the gate. Swami stopped the car and asked him to come inside. When Swami's car went, he followed. Swami said, you follow me. And Swami brought him with us inside the hostel, where all the boys were sitting. He gave him a special place to sit. And we didn't know who he was. After the bhajans were over, one or two boys got up to speak how lucky they were that Swami chose this great day to come and speak to them. Then Swami said, didn't I tell you I'm going to get a very good singer? So here it is. This guy, I would like him to do Hari Katha for you. A Burra Katha, as they call it in Andhra Pradesh. So those of us who are not very familiar with the concept of Hari Katha, this is the folk singing, in which a person has a tanpura in his hand, we call it tambura, like Mirabai held, and kartals in the hand, those which you make chum 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 noise. And you sing the glory of Lord Vishnu. You sing about Lord Vishnu and you relate the story, and after relating the story, you sing a bhajan, and it is in a very spiritual atmosphere that people enjoy this kind of a thing, especially villagers, where at those moments you didn't have films and videos and so forth. So these people would go around singing village to village the Burra Katha, and Swami would enjoy that. So this man came, he was given a microphone, this thing, and then he prayed to Swami, and he was looking very nervous. We were wondering why such a great artist, Swami is calling you here. That means you must be one of the world-class artists who's going to sing. So we were all geared up. This poor man started his singing, and to be honest, I don't want to be judgmental, but he wasn't all that good. In fact, a folk singer who kind of, was a little crude in his finishing voice, and his voice faltered, and he would go out of Shruti, and we would look at Swami, in case we are singing bhajans, a little out of Shruti or a little out of Talam, and Swami would glare at us and look. And here he was, going out of Shruti, out of Talam, coughing in between, and Swami was enjoying it was a divine singer, an angel singing. I've never seen Swami sitting on the chair and enjoying every bit of his singing. And honestly, we were very disappointed. We thought there's going to be some great artist, and he's going to sing some good Carnatic Tyagaraj Kirtanams, or he's going to sing pure Hindustani, and we are in for a treat because Swami has asked us to be invited to the hostel and all that. Anyway, he sang for a good half an hour, after which Swami blessed him profusely and made him sit down. And the guy was so old and frail, he was coughing. Swami asked for a glass of water for him. A glass of water was brought. Swami made him comfortable. Then Swami came onto the dais and started speaking. Then no word was exchanged, nothing was spoken about this man. After the discourse was over, Swami got down and signaled for the arati. Soon as the boys were getting up, Swami made them sit down again. And he called for the microphone. And Swami said, I know one thing. You boys are wondering that normally you have to make so much of an effort to invite me to the hostel. And here, why did I tell that you invite me? And I readily agreed. And I said, I'm going to get a very good singer today. And look, we had so-and-so gentleman singing to you. And what a great singer he was. Wasn't he? Now he looked at some of the bhajan singers and half-heartedly we shook our heads. Because we knew he was nothing. All the boys probably, every single one of them, even the very great singer would have been better than him. But then what we realized, Swami was in love with this man. He enjoyed his singing so much, he was wanting probably, as I say the word probably, he wanted to drive home that he doesn't want outside show. What he's craving for is the bhava. It was that bhava with which he was singing, that bhakti bhava with which, that is what must have impressed Swami. That is what we thought. And we had no measurement to measure his bhakti, that how he was feeling. So we just fell along Swami's line. Then after this, just before the arati began, Swami said, now I will tell you the story of this man. He said, he's a poor man, a poor Brahmin, who has all his life only done Harikatha. He doesn't know anything else, and he would go from village to village doing Harikatha, and people would give him rice, people would give him old clothes, someone would give him his old utensils, and with whatever meager earnings he had, somebody would give him a 2 rupee note or a 5 rupee note, whatever meager earnings he had, he would probably account his living. He has lived in abject poverty throughout his life. There have been days in his house when he had no food to eat, but he never complained to me. He never complained to God. All he said, I am getting enough what God has planned for me. I am supposed to do Harikatha. I will go from village to village and continue doing Harikatha. So this time, when the festival of Dasara came through, enthusiastically his wife said, why don't you go out and do Harikatha? It is that holy time of Navratra, and people would call you to various villages and you will get rice also, clothes also, little money also, and maybe the next few days we will have a little comfortable time in our lives. So this man traveled from one village to another without much success. Swami said these days people want to have film shows in Navratris. They want to have music shows in Navratris. They want to have dance sessions in Navratri. But nobody wanted to have a poor Harikatha person singing the praises of Lord Vishnu and chanting his bhajans and also relating some very good episodes. So what happened? When he reached Anantapur, somebody told him, why don't you go to Puttaparthi? The whole world converges there, and Swami is fond of musicians. Swami is fond of those people who sing well, and you have so much of bhava with which you sing. So why don't you go to Puttaparthi? So with great hope and expectation. Somebody gave him a few rupees to buy a ticket from Anantapur bus. He travelled to Puttaparthi and reached on the penultimate day of Dasara, early morning. Now imagine, when there is a penultimate day, the whole ashram is gearing up for the Purna Ahuti. Everybody is there, and you can imagine easily close to 20 to 25,000 people are moving around in the ashram at any given time. Feeling completely lost, he thought it would be a small ashram. He'd go to Baba and pray, Swami, I would like to sing on this Dasara day before you. And Swami would probably give him an opportunity. He didn't know, he felt lost. It was like a Kumbh Ka Mela wherein he had nothing to talk to anybody. There were no known people. He went near the neem tree opposite the mandir, put his luggage there, and feeling lost, suddenly he saw a man in white dhoti and white kurta coming to him with a meaningful glances. And that man came and asked, are you so-and-so? So this guy got scared. Oh my God, how does he know my name? So he said, yes sir, I'm so-and-so. Oh my God. You know, from morning, Swami has sent me thrice under this neem tree. And he's been remembering you. He said you would be coming here early in the morning. So I was entrusted with the responsibility to take you very respectfully. And I had instructions to first feed you, then take you into the room, give you a warm water bath, give you new clothes which Swami has sent, and bring you respectfully at 8 o'clock to sit in the front to witness Purnahuti. This man didn't know what hit him. He said, oh my God, they seem to be having a very good information system, better than the CPI. You know, that wherein a man walks in and there is a guy waiting there, and who was the gentleman? He was the ashram manager, Mr. Kutum Rao. And those of us who have seen him, they know what a stern kind of a character he was. And he was always on the move. Wherever Swami would send him, he would go around running in that age. So, very respectfully, he was taken. He was given a shower, warm food to eat, new clothes to wear, and as we saw on that day, Swami made him sit for Purnahuti in the front. Evening he attended, but then in his heart of hearts, Swami said he wanted to sing in front of me. Now how could I give him an opportunity on Dasara day when I had already given an opportunity to all my children to sing? And I knew that it would not be an apt place for him to sing. So I took it upon myself to fulfill his wish and ask you all to invite me, so that when you invite me, I will call him to the hostel and I will make him sing. And today, you all heard him sing. Wasn't he good? I wish all of us felt he was great. He was not just good, he was great. I mean, we understood what was the history behind him, and we all shook our heads. Swami said, Ras. You know, with that typical pathos and the sympathy which Swami had, the love which Swami had. Swami said, what is this? When a person works for a government throughout his life, even the government pays him pension after he retires. This poor man, throughout his life, he has done nothing but taken God's name. He has taken my name. Look at that Swami's oneness. He was doing Vishnu's Katha, Hari Katha. Swami said throughout his life, he has done nothing but taken God's name. And now, in the evening of his career, when he is about to retire, his voice is faltering, his health is not supporting. How could I leave him? Even he deserves a pension. That's why I called him here to Puttaparthi. I drew him to me in Puttaparthi. Now I am announcing publicly, this man is going to stay for the rest of his life in Puttaparthi. I am going to feed him, I am going to give him clothes, I am going to take responsibility of his children, I am going to ensure that his children study well and get out. This is the least I can do by way of paying pension to a devotee who throughout his life has only taken God's name. He is God for nothing. He knows what it is. Imagine what a great example he set for all of us. And after that incident, for years together, I would see that man sitting peacefully with the old gentleman on those black benches in Kulwant Hall also, when the Kulwant Hall came into being, and he would be there, and Swami had taken care of him. He had given him an apartment there in Puttaparthi. His food was free for him. Clothes were given to him on various occasions when Swami would do. And his children were placed into the Isharamba school to study. This is the love of Swami. This is the giving aspect. I mean, imagine what is Swami teaching us? That you have to become one day one with him. You have to raise your level. So your giving should be in this mode, wherein we also raise our level of giving, wherein when we see a true devotee of God who has done nothing but take his God name, maybe we could also emulate that example. So, this was one of the very touching examples which I saw with my own eyes, witnessed it, and saw as a student how Swami had that love for people, and he was always giving. You know, came 1991, and the super speciality, the first super speciality hospital was built in Puttaparthi, and by which time my father was made the state president of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and they were given instructions that all poor patients who come to you, without thinking even once, direct them to Puttaparthi. I want to ensure, Swami said, I want to ensure that all these people are given free treatment, they are treated well, and they all gain that, good health, and they are able to take care of their family. So, we were following this rule. All of us, whenever a poor patient would come to us looking for our office, and we would all gladly direct him to our dad's chamber, and dad would be so happy that Swami has sent someone, and we would go, send him, give him all the directions, all the help, and there would be times, when a Sevadal would accompany that poor man to Puttaparthi to ensure. Those were the days you were first supposed to send all the reports by mail. When I say mail, the postage mail, not the email variety. So, we would send through the post all his reports. The doctors would have a look, and then they would send you a postcard which would tell that on such and such date, please send your patient to Puttaparthi for having a look. After the patient was taken care of, then the patient was sent back, and then another postcard would follow which would say that on such and such day, the operation is going to be carried out, so please send your patient again. So those who referred, like my father would write a detailed letter and then post it, and then there would be another postcard which would come. So one evening, a poor peasant, a poor farmer came to my dad's office, and I happened to be there, and I saw that his kurta was all dirty and torn from certain places. His dhoti was all crumpled up. He had the Gandhi topi on his head, and we could make it out this guy was really son of the soil, a very poor person. So very hesitatingly, he came into an air-conditioned office, and he was even not wanting to sit, but father very lovingly made him sit, offered him a glass of water, asked him if he was hungry and if he would like to eat. I was looking at that aspect of how my father would deal with these patients who would come to him. And after making them comfortable, he asked, yes, brother, tell me, how can I help you? Then he said, I went to so-and-so doctor in Indore, and he said, you need a bypass surgery, and that will cost you close to 4 lakhs rupees. So do you have that kind of money? If you don't have that money, you will probably, I'll give you not more than 2 months to live. So then I told the doctor, I don't have that kind of money. So what do I do now? So he said, there is one Mr. Sachdeva. Go down to his office. I heard he's been referring patients to a place called Puttaparthi, where Sai Baba has been carrying out these surgeries on them free of charge. Maybe you go to him if he can help you. The doctor was a commercial doctor, but a good man though. He sent him. He did not even know us. We didn't know him. But he came to us and he said, sir, I have no money with me. No money to even travel. How do I go to Puttaparthi? So my dad made him sit down and said, don't worry, we'll do it for you. A letter was written, it was sent, and the postcard came in after a few days. We called him up, telephonically, and told him, take this money, sit in that train which leaves very close to your village, Karnataka Express, which will take you to Puttaparthi, get down at Dharmavaram, and then go down and get yourselves checked up. So all the instructions was given, a little help was made to him. This poor man, who had no clue to Satya Sai Baba, he had no clue to a hospital, because he has small children and 2 elderly parents to take care of, and being a poor man, which he was, the last hope was that somebody will take care of my health. So he landed in Puttaparthi. And sure enough, he lined up, and the doctors called him, and the doctors had a look at him, and they said, oh my God, you have a very serious heart problem, and if you are not operated upon immediately, I'm sorry, you don't have too much time. I think the maximum I can do in this 2 weeks' time, and in these 2 weeks, if you want to go back to your village and come back, I'm giving you the day today itself, note down, and get yourselves operated. So that man started laughing at the doctor. He said, sir, with great difficulty I have been able to come here. If I go back, I don't think so I'll have money left to come back again for this surgery. So can I stay here somewhere? So the doctor, being a kind man, a Swami's devotee, hardcore one at that, he said, why don't you go to the ashram? So he said, what will I do in the ashram? He said, oh, this hospital has been made by Sri Sathya Sai Baba. You can have the good fortune of having his darshans. And what do I do then? He said, you have his darshans morning and afternoon, and then after 2 weeks you come to me, and maybe after 10 days, if you are going to live here, after 10 days I can call you. So this poor old man, who had no clue to Baba, he found himself sitting in Prashanti Mandir on the sands there. And Swami would come in front of him, go back, and he suddenly found, the first day he looked at a person virtually floating on the ground with a robe and with that blissful smile, love oozing out of every pore of his body, and something touched him. The second time Swami came, he found himself folding his hands. The third time, he was craving to be close to Swami. But then it doesn't happen in Puttaparthi unless you are lucky to get that first token to be sitting in the front row. He never got the first token, but wherever he was in bliss looking at Swami. He forgot about his heart condition. He would be the first person early morning at 4 o'clock to sit in the front, first person in the afternoon to sit there just to get a chance to see Swami. And the Sevadal got to know him because all he spoke was Hindi, and he had no clue to anything else. He had to be directed, go there, live in the Ganesha shed, go and have food. So, gradually he got to know the place, and the place grew on him. And he realized what a wonderful place this was. Came the 10th day, and the Sevadal said, would you want to sit in the front? So when Swami comes, you can talk to Swami. So he said, what will happen then? Ask for Swami's blessing, Babu. You have a surgery this afternoon. He said, oh wow. So would Swami talk to me? He said, why don't you sit in the front? Now, the Sevadal person, feeling sympathy, pity for this man, made him sit down because that afternoon he was to be taken for surgery. Now, with a lot of pride and with a lot of happiness, he sat in the front row, and Swami came gliding towards him, and he got upon his knees, and Swami said, "Ha, bolo." Swami knows which language you speak, So Swami said, "Ha, bolo." So he got up and said, "Swami, today it is my surgery in the super speciality hospital, so please bless me." Swami became very stern looking at him. A poor man. He had always seen Swami blissful with so much of love. Swami became very stern. And Swami answered him back in Hindi, "जिसको मुझ में विश्वास मैं उसके लिए मंदिर बनाया, जिसको डॉक्टर में विश्वास मैं उसके लिए हॉस्पिटल बनाया." Wow! What an answer. Swami said, those who have faith in me, I have made this temple. And those who have faith in the doctors, for them I have made this hospital. And Swami gave him that bewitching smile of his and moved ahead. This guy fell on his place. He started thinking, what did Swami tell me? जिसको मुझ में विश्वास मैं उसके लिए मंदिर बनाया, जिसको डॉक्टर में विश्वास मैं हॉस्पिटल बनाया. So what should I do? What would you do? As it is in that age, that time, getting an appointment itself was a big thing. And getting an appointment, and that very afternoon you were to be operated upon, and Swami gives you probably one of those, off-the-cuff remarks and walks away. He went down to that Sevadal guy who was instrumental in making him sit there. Hey, come here, gentlemen, tell me what should I do? Now the Sevadal guy was equally confused. So he said, look, however much I may tell you, I think you go for the surgery, Baba. With great difficulty, you've got this chance. So Swami will say something, you go get yourself operated. Now, he didn't know what to do. But this man kept on thinking. Now, there was that bus which was leaving for super speciality from the canteen. He had those 15 minutes either to go and board that bus and go to the super speciality hospital or go inside to the mandir to have darshans. I don't know what came over him. He chose to go inside the mandir. That man who had never seen Swami, who had never witnessed Swami prior to this, he did not know anything about Swami. 10 days of darshan of Swami, he said, no. Swami bole mujhko ki jisko mujh mein vishwas mein mandir banaya. I go to the mandir. This man went inside mandir, nothing happened. He didn't get electric shock. He did not get Akashvani. Swami did not appear to him and said, very good, my child, you done the right job. Nothing happened. He went in, came out, and he saw the bus going in front of him. And he thought life slipping by. He was confused whether I chose the right thing. Did he do the right thing? So let's see. Now, every day, he would go to the mandir, have darshans, come back. Go to the mandir, have darshans, come back. Came the time when after about 3 or 4 days, he was panting for breath. He was standing near the canteen door, holding his heart, panting for breath, and the doctor came through. And the doctor looked at him, Are Baba, what happened to you? Why didn't you come for surgery? You were here only. So he said, Sir, Swami bola, jisko mujh mein vishwas mandir banaya. जिसको डॉक्टर में विश्वास हॉस्पिटल बनाया. What could I do? The doctor also got confused. Imagine if I was the doctor, I would be equally confused. So he said, nevertheless, today there is one patient whom I have sent in a message. He's not come, so you come with me. I'll take you for a checkup and maybe I'll give you another date. Now, seeing his condition, we took him, did all the checkups. Once he did a checkup, called the senior doctor, made him do a second checkup, and they spoke seriously. Probably his condition was worsening. They came out, and both of them did namaskar to that patient, and they said, I don't know what Bhagwan has done to you, but there is no problem of any situation in your heart. You are cured. You can go back. And that man couldn't believe. In the morning, I was panting for breath. And this doctor here says, you can go back. He said, yes, you are absolutely fine. I've called the senior cardiologist. He's also had a look at you and you don't have a heart condition. There is nothing at all. That poor man, with tears streaming through his eyes, went yet again for darshans, the last darshans he had. And then came home and fell at my dad's feet and related this beautiful episode. He said, I don't know that there are cures happening like this. I'm not even a devotee. I'm not even a rich person whom Swami would talk to. But Swami spoke to me and he guided me. And then he went to the doctor, the local doctor to thank him, who had a full checkup. And he said, you know what the local doctor said? You are lying to me. Somebody has operated upon you and that heart problem is no more there, but you are lying that you have not been operated. Something has been done to you. Now, how could he explain that the surgeons of surgeons had done something? He had touched him and he was cured. So this is how. The love of God, the giving of God. You know how beautiful it is when God gives you. When it comes to giving, He gives you and doesn't stop at that. We're also talking about the forgiving aspect of Bhagavan. You know, I would like to go on and on about the giving aspect of Bhagavan because we are receiving it. So when you receive something, when somebody gives you a gift, you feel so happy. When somebody loves you, you feel so happy. When somebody recognizes you, you feel so happy. So when you receive, so when somebody is giving, you feel so happy. So shouldn't you also be giving so that the other person feels happy? This is what Swami wants us to learn from his giving part. So what do we give? And what do we give to Bhagavan? So we'll talk about that at the end of the talk. But talking of the forgiving aspect of Swami, how he used to forgive everybody. I mean, if I look at myself today, I'm a much better human being than what I was when I started my journey. But then I still have a long way to go. I'm really not perfect as Swami would want an ideal role model to be. Yes, I might be that, but I still have a long way to go because I know myself. Ultimately, when I face Swami, I have to be honest to Swami. But yet, when he receives me lovingly. He calls me Bangaru. What does Bangaru mean? In Telugu, he uses that word lovingly. He'll pat your cheek and says Bangaru. He would call that. Bangaru means gold. So does it mean I'm gold? One interpretation could be, I am gold now. But Swami has said in one of his discourses, when I tell you Bangaru, I mean I want you to become like gold. It doesn't mean that you're already gold. When I say Bangaru lovingly, it means I want you to become as pure, as valuable, as good as gold. That is what it is. So those of us who are lucky enough, when Swami pulled our cheeks and told us Bangaru, so then he showed us the way that, well, you have to go through that process of burning, that process of being hit, that process of being purified, leaving your impurities to become gold. So, that is how it is with all of us when we look at Swami. So, in India, when we became members of the organization, I was a student of Balikas. I was just 11 or 12 years old. So Swami gave us an activity which Swami said Narayan Seva, which we normally call as poor feeding. And Swami never said it poor feeding. He said it is your feeding which becomes poor when you call poor feeding. So say Narayan Seva. And what is the Narayan Seva? Wherein you collect food, offer it to those poor souls who have not had a square meal for the day, and treat them as Bhagwan as you offer them. So Swami said you must prepare the same kind of food when you do this activity as the same food which you eat at home. So when this activity began, in the initial stages, we were told as members of organization that in your vicinity, wherever you live, identify 40 or 50 houses. Go and meet those people and tell them that every Sunday between 11 and 1 o'clock, we'll come to your house. You kindly prepare 4 rotis with some aloo ki sabzi or some dry vegetable with it, fold it and give it to us, and that will be forming a meal for one poor person. So what we would do, we would assemble, like say if I were to go to 50 places, I will have 50 into 4, 200 rotis. We would put them together, the dry vegetable would be placed together, and then there will be another people who will come from different areas, so all the rotis will be put together, all the vegetables will be put together, and then in a slum area, we would go down there, line up all these Narayanas and tell them Sai Ram, and with all our utmost love and affection, we would give them that roti and with the sabzi. But we noticed, whenever we would go for asking these food packets, not everybody received you, though we had gone and met them, so not everybody would receive you with a very welcoming note. Now, I used to see my dad would get down from his car with a bag in his hand, would go and ring the bell, so somebody will shout from inside, "Kaun hai?" The typical movie style, and then you will say, "Sai Ram sir, food packet." Ruko. Then the housewife will come running and say, "Sir, 1 minute." She'll quickly go down and prepare piping hot rotis, and the woman wrapped in a newspaper, the moment she'll give, oh my God, what a great soul. She waited for me to come and then bake those rotis, and with that piping hot vegetables she's given. We would say thank you to her, Sai Ram, and go back. And another place we would go down, ring the bell, somebody would not answer the bell first. You ring the second bell a little longish, somebody will bark from inside. Kaun hai? Like that, oh my God. So you would wonder who it is, whether it's something wrong you did. And then he'd open up the door with his ruffled hair and his Sunday best, with Bermudas and a banyan probably. And he would say, "Kya hai?" As if we are there to beggars there standing. So we'll say, "Sai Ram sir, we have come to collect the food packet." To go. They would say like that. "Arey, ye koi मांगने वाले आए हैं, इनको food packet दे दो." I would look at my dad. I said, Dad, वो हमको मांगने वाला बोल रहा है. He's telling we are beggars. Don't get excited. Don't get worked up. Then the house lady would come and she'll say, yes, ma'am, we are here to collect the food packets. Oh, okay, come. She'll quickly go. In 2 minutes she'll be back. And that stale roti which was there in the last night, the children must not have eaten, and the stale vegetable would be there, and we would take it gladly and say, Sai Ram and thank you. And we would go with a heavy heart. So you know, you had contrasting people to kind of welcome you every time we went. And it used to be a very painful experience when somebody would insult my father. You know, my father was my hero, he still is, you know, but then when somebody insults your father and says, maangne wala aaya, usko roti de do. So I would feel very hurt within my heart. So one day, the same person I was talking about, his wife was equally wretched, you know, and they must be having a tough time with each other. So one morning when we went on a Sunday, we rang the bell, they didn't come. Second time we rang the bell, nobody came. Third time there was a longish bell, the lady opened up immediately. Kya hai? She looked at her. Ma'am, Sai Ram, food packet. Ruko. And then she said, Pata nahi kahan se chale aate hain maangne wale. She said this under her breath. Pata nahi kahan se chale aate hain maangne wale. I do not know from where all these people come to beg for food at our place. I looked up at my dad. I said, Dad, this time you must give it to her. She said, this is too much. Telling, kahan se aa jate hain? And my dad said, look son, we are not beggars. We have a car parked outside. I am there with the thela in my hand. Nevertheless, but then Swami has taught us, you should be humble. I said, no Dad. Either you speak to her or I speak to her. So Dad said, quiet young man, I will do the talking. So I was, getting up. I said, yeah, today this lady is going to get, my father is going to give it to her and said, Madam, do you know I'm a hotshot lawyer of the town. I can hire for a few people like you. If you don't give me rotis, don't give, but don't misbehave like this. So I was imagining how my conversation is going to go. And the lady quickly came with those 4 stale rotis in her hand and, lijiye. So my dad said, with folded hands. I was realizing, why is he folding his hands here? He should be getting aggressive. My father, in a very apologetic way, folded his hands and he said, Behan ji, हमारे आने से अगर आपको कष्ट होता है तो हम अगले संडे से नहीं आएंगे, पर आप ये जो भोजन देते हैं ना, उससे एक गरीब आदमी को भोजन मिलता है और आप सोचिए वो कितनी दुआएं देता होगा आपको. He said very humbly that, dear sister, you know something, we come home to collect this food packet at your place, and when you give this food packet, one poor man gets to have a square meal, and if you don't give, if we are causing you any discomfort or trouble, we will not trouble you again next week. So the lady did not answer, but she locked the door and went inside. And I looked at my dad, exasperated. Yeah, Dad, there was such a golden chance. He said, no. Swami has said, when you go for seva, we are small people. We are there. If she has spoken wrongly to us, we should forgive her. Forgiving. So first lesson I learned, a sevak has no place to. When you go for seva, you show your attitude to your wife, if you can afford to do that. So you show your attitude to your friends, but when you go for seva, you don't show attitude. You go with that feeling of forgiveness. Forgive them. They know not what they are doing. But you are there as representatives of Bhagwan. How can you show attitude to anybody? If he gives you, thank you. If he doesn't give you, double thank you. But then you are contributing in those days. So with that feeling, next week we went again. I said, Dad, you ring the bell, I'm not going. It used to be, being a young boy, I used to love ringing the bell and listen to the separate tones. Some would have a ding-dong, somebody will have that trrr, somebody will have those musical sounds. And you would correlate to the person, how that person would be when he opens the door, whether today he's going to be angry, upset, happy, all different kinds of moods, So it was a study in psychology, you could do that. So what's happening? So that day, I said, Dad, you do the honors, you ring the bell. I stood back because I knew this woman is going to come and bark today, for sure. That tum phir se aa gaye, वापस इतना बोलने के बाद. So I thought my dad is in for trouble today. So Dad rang the bell and promptly, immediately the door opened. The lady was, after taking a bath with the proper kind of a sari, and she said, food packet, no, मैं अभी लेके आती हूँ. Oh, she went inside and not one, there were 2 food packets, piping hot rotis. And she said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. I was in a very bad frame of mind last Sunday and I probably spoke to you very rudely. But you were so humble, you were so sweet, and you made me understand that with these rotis, there'll be one person able to eat a square meal. So I thought, why one person? I must make 2 packets so at least 2 children get to have food. So please accept my humble offering. And from now onwards, I'm going to give you 2 food packets." Love gives and forgives, a lesson well learned by me as a small child. I looked up at my dad and he said, "Kya hua?" I said, "Dad, you win." First lesson learned. In seva, you have to be forgiving. And look at that transformation which came over that lady. She doesn't know Swami. She doesn't know your organization. She doesn't know what you stand for. But that fact of giving, you are giving an opportunity and you are becoming a forgiving nature. So what happens? The divinity automatically sparks. And when the sparks fly, what happens? A miracle takes place. So the first time I realized that miracles do take place even when Swami chooses to be anonymous. When he's not there. And you know, when people say that, how much time do I have?
Maybe another 5-10 minutes.
Okay. So I'll wind up.
Time flies very fast.
Okay. So, first lesson I learned that, you know, when Swami chooses to be anonymous, we normally say, "Oh, it's by chance it happened." It's not by chance. It's not a coincidence. Coincidence is an incidence where God chooses to be anonymous. So that is how things happen. And a lesson for all of us that as we go for seva, we must kind of, be willing to always submit, cut our ego across, and then go down. How many of us, I have a question to ask here, since this watch seems to be running pretty fast. So, I have a quick question to ask all of you. How many of us pray? Wow, everybody prays. And what do we do when we pray? What happens when you pray? What happens? When you pray, Baba says it's talking to God. No?
Yes.
It's talking to God. Morning when I go, "Oh God, please help me become a better human being. Oh God, I have this nasty boss in office. I hope he's not in that frame of mind and I go, please boss, my spouse is troubling me so much. Please give me the patience to bear with my spouse. Please God, my children are going haywire. Please show them the right path. Please boss, God, I'm having problems financially. Please sort it out for me. God, I want to go up in life. I have this jalopy here, this old worn out car. Why can't I get a good car?" So we are constantly talking to God, asking for things. Are we? Are we not? We are. How do you hear God? Now you've prayed to God, you've talked to God, you've spoken to God. Now how do you know God wants to talk back to you? So Swami says, you do the jabbing, blabbering. "Arey Baba, listen to me, I also want to talk to you back." So what should you do if you want to hear God? Sit in peace and quietude in the morning for 10 minutes. Do meditation. Meditation is the time Swami says God talks back to you. That is the time you can hear the voice of God. And Swami says it's only in the silence that the voice of God can be heard. So, you must all sit for 10 minutes in meditation and ensure that you are able to hear the voice of God. You know, when we were in organization and we were working there, we were given a very good program by one of our brothers from Maharashtra. He called it 10-20-30. He said, if you really want to reach Godhood, just do 10-20-30. We said, what is this 10-20-30? He says 10 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of Nam Smarna, and 30 minutes of reading Sai literature every day. Can we not take out 1 hour out of 24 hours as part of our personal sadhana? 10 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of Namasmarana, and half an hour of reading Swami's literature, or for that matter, any good literature, which is enlightening, which takes you upwards, and do it. Because he said there's no good friend like a good literature. So we do that, and we started doing it. So Swami is also kind of certifying that 10 minutes of meditation is a must for all of us if you want to hear to the voice of God. In my first year, September 1979 it was, I joined in the month of July, and like all of us, I too used to pray to God. And I used to pray loudly. Loudly in the sense, there was a statue of Lord Ganesha opposite the Dashabdar gate in Prashanti Mandir, the then Dashabdar gate. Now, of course, there's a big gate which has come. So, when I would go after the bhajans, evening bhajans would get over, I would go down to the Lord Ganesha statue there and I would pray fervently. And what would I pray? I would pray for Vidya and Sadbuddhi. I would go constantly and pray to Lord Ganesha, God give me Vidya, give me Sadbuddhi. And why? If someone may ask, so I had learned somewhere, Vidya is knowledge. And knowledge is power. If you get Vidya, Vidya is that ornament, knowledge is that ornament which nobody can take away from you. So you must constantly ask for something which nobody can take away. And it qualifies you, it gives you knowledge, and you become a good person intellectually. So I would go down and I said, Lord Ganesha is the right person to ask for these things. So I would go for Vidya and Sadbuddhi. Why Sadbuddhi? Sadbuddhi means the ability to discriminate. And I said, why am I asking for Sadbuddhi? Because if I have Sadbuddhi, then I will go on the right path, I will listen to Swami, I will be able to do good deeds. So I must have Sadbuddhi, good intellect, good intelligence, the power of discrimination, and do that. Now for the next 2-3 months, I kept on harping. The moment I would see Lord Ganesha, when nobody is around, I would talk loudly and say, God, I want Vidya and Sadbuddhi. If boys are there, other devotees are there, it will be a quiet prayer. God, I want Vidya, I want Sadbuddhi. Just bless me with that. Now I think Swami must have got sick of me. This fellow, every day he comes, same prayer, nothing changes, Vidya, Sadbuddhi, Vidya, Sadbuddhi. So one day, Swami decided to call a few of us for a closed interview. And there, Swami sat down, and that his discourse was the power of prayer. What happens to you when you pray to God? And the power of prayer. Swami spoke so eloquently. I wish we had the time, and then Swami kept on going about how Guru Nanak told that power of prayer, how other gurus taught about the power of prayer, why praying is the most important aspect of any human being, how it connects you with you and God. It is that unseen thread which connects you to God, and we were all listening very diligently to Swami. And then Swami said, you see all these devotees who are sitting outside, my devotees, they are like, beggars for me. Every day. And then he looked at the boys, all of you also, every day you ask me for worldly things. Somebody asks for money, somebody asks for power, somebody asks for position, somebody asks for bungalow, somebody asks for a motor car, somebody asks for getting married. Those who are already married, they want a child. Those who have a child, they want that they should become good. Then when they become good, they grow up, then you want your daughter to get married. So this goes on, and everyone who comes to me, they are constantly asking for material things and worldly things from me. And then he looked at me. And I didn't know what to do. And he did like this, so I just folded my hands. But there are some devotees here who don't ask me for worldly things. No? So I just shook my head. I said, yes, Swami. They asked for Vidya and Sadbuddhi. Now another shock. You are talking to Lord Ganesha. I didn't know there was a hotline between Lord Ganesha and Swami, that all that information is being transmitted there. And I was surprised and looking at Swami, and I shook my head, and it hit me like an arrow in my heart, that how did Swami know that I am asking for Vidya and Sadbuddhi? And Swami looked at me, "Kyun manta hai ye phaltu ki cheezein?" Oh, phaltu ki cheezein? These wasteful things? But one thing I was happy that I was not asking for any material things. Then, I was happy that, okay, Swami, please acknowledge that I'm not asking for any material thing. Because when you have Swami around and you are young, you want Vidya and Sadbuddhi. Material things could follow later. Maybe I had not fallen into that trap of asking material things to Swami. When the Swami said, do you know what every devotee must ask in their prayers? now we realize, my God, what great good fortune. Here we have the avatar of this age who is teaching us what to ask even in our prayers. So we drew a little closer to Swami and we caught hold of his feet. Somebody caught hold of his leg and we all said, Swami, please tell us what we must ask in our prayers. Swami said, it is very simple. Don't ask me for wealth, don't ask me for power, don't ask me for name, don't ask me for fame, don't ask me for anything worldly in your prayers. Do you know what you should ask? Ask for me and me alone. And when you ask me, I have in my hand name, fame, power, money, everything. And when you ask for me, I give you everything. So don't ask me for material things. If you ask me for money, maybe you'll have problems with the income tax also. You have problems, you want name, you may get name, but then you may not get money. You want fame, you may get fame, but then you may not get godly. So there are so many things, whatever you may ask, you may get that, but then ultimately, what I have come to give, you may not get that. So if you want to ask in your prayers, don't ask anything. Ask for me and me alone. And then Swami said, I'm like the Divine Mother. You don't have to quantify the Swami, I need to change my car, please help me get a good car. You don't need to say, Swami, I'm living in a small house, I need a bigger house. Swami, I need name, fame, power, money. You don't need to say all that. He said, when your physical mother knows what are your necessities, don't you think your Divine Mother would know what your necessities are? And Swami said, give an example then. Swami said, when a baby is young, about a few months old, the husband comes back from office, the wife opens up the door, greets him with a smile, and he hears the baby cry. So the husband says, oh, go rush upstairs. I think the baby needs a change in the nappy. She must have done susu. So go and change her nappy. So the mother smiles and tells the husband, no, the baby's hungry. Right enough, he goes back behind his wife and peeks from the corner of the door when he opens. Sure enough, she's feeding the baby and the child is not wet and snappy. Next day again, he comes down and he hears the baby cry again. He says, I think the baby's hungry, go and feed her. He said, no, I've fed the baby already. I think the baby needs a nappy change. She must be feeling uncomfortable because it must have wet and snappy. Now, he goes back again and sees, how does this mom know? How does this lady know why the baby, whether the baby wants a change in nappy or the baby wants food, milk? So Swami said, when a worldly mother, without even going up, looking at hearing the cry of the baby, knows for sure that what the baby requires. So don't you think this Saima, who's the Divine Mother of all, know what are your requirements? Just ask for me and me alone. And I promise I'm going to give everything to you. I am that mother who's come to give. But don't ask for these trinkets. I've come to give you diamonds. And then Swami related this beautiful episode out of Mahabharata. He said the war of Mahabharata was to begin. And that afternoon, the Kauravas and Pandavas were wondering on whose side would Lord Krishna fight from. The Pandavas were sure that it is going to be from our side, but the Kauravas also wanted Lord Krishna to come on their side and fight this war of Mahabharata. Why? Because they were sure that there could be nobody better, a greater warrior than Lord Krishna. And if he comes into the war field with his Sudarshan Chakra, the other side is going to be finished. So with that thought in mind, Duryodhana came one afternoon to seek help from Lord Krishna and ask him this golden question, on whose side are you going to fight? After 10 minutes, Arjuna also came. He saw that Lord Krishna was taking that power nap in the afternoon with his hand like this in that position, and Duryodhana was sitting near the pillow. So he came, drew a chair next to Lord's feet and sat down there. So no sooner after a few minutes, Lord Krishna opened his eyes and he saw Arjuna sitting in front of him. So he asked him, oh Parth, when did you come? So Duryodhana cleared his throat and he said, Lord, I am also sitting here. Oh Duryodhana, you are also here? Please come in the front. Both of them sat together. Then Lord knew why they have come. But he has to play the divine enactment of the role. So Lord asked, why have you both come here? So both of them replied in unison, Swami, this war of Mahabharata is going to be fought. We want to know on whose side are you going to be fighting. So Lord Krishna said, look, since this is the war of dharma, Swami is relating it, this is the war of dharma, I am not going to pick up arms. So one side, I will be there without my Sudarshan Chakra, without any arms, but I will be available in advisory capacity. But I will not take 2 arms. And on the other side is going to be my army with all the elephants, chariots, horses, weaponry. So what do you want? So who came first? Duryodhan said, Lord, I came first. So Duryodhan, your choice. Now Arjun's heart started beating very hard because he wanted Lord Krishna on his side, and he said, I hope he doesn't ask for Lord Krishna. And he kept on praying in his prayer, the Lord, I want you, please don't go with Kaurval, I want you, I want you. So after a few seconds pause, Duryodhana thought, if Lord Krishna is not going to fight, if he's not going to pick up weapons, and he's going to be merely in advisory capacity. So I have Bhishma Pitama, I have Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Shakuni, everybody to advise me, my friend Karna. So I think I'll let go, I'll take the army. So he said, Lord, I want the army. And then Krishna looked at Arjuna. I said, what do you want? He fell at Krishna's feet with tears in his eyes, and he said, Lord, I want you and you alone. I don't want your army. I don't want anything. I want you and you alone. This was the prayer Arjuna made. So Swami said, now see what history shows. He got name, fame, power, money, kingdom, even the spiritual knowledge of Gita, which was reserved for Arjuna because he asked for God. And when you ask for God, God gives you everything because He knows what His child needs. And then Swami said, there are so many parents who name their children as Arjun. But have you heard any child naming his son as Duryodhana? Why? Not because Arjun was a great warrior. Even Duryodhana was a great warrior. But it is because Arjuna chose God over the world. So my dear brothers and sisters, I think we are so lucky to be living in an age where we had the opportunity of having Swami as our God, Swami as our Guru, who taught us as a mother would do with a small child, even what we must pray and how we must pray. I think those of us who have been praying for the wrong things to the Lord, I think it's a great lesson for us today here, which probably Swami wanted to give through me when he taught me this lesson when I was 18 years old, September 1979, that if you want to pray, pray for me and me alone. And when you pray for me, I give you everything. And I think, Swami, I owe this to you. I have also seen many ups and downs in my life. I have been tempted to change my prayer, but then Swami had said, when you are getting tempted to ask something else, just keep on repeating, Swami, I want you, Swami, I want you, Swami, I want you. Don't say anything else. I know what you want. I shall give you that. That is his grand assurance. And I think we are lucky that Swami is teaching us. So let us all join hands and pray to Bhagwan for him and him alone to guide us today, tomorrow, and forever for the rest of our lives, so that when our last moment comes, we have our Lord to come and take us in the divine chariot of His. And He feels proud that this was my child who has lived up to my expectations. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Yes,
Sairam, yes, we are all convinced we want Swami and Swami alone. This retreat is designed and architected by Swami for Him to give Him to us through various disciples. Thank you, Brother Tribhuvan Bhai. We have this Tribhuvan Bhai session continuing again at 2:30. Please check the schedule, 2:45 maybe. Our next program item is going to be a little bit adjusted. Instead of 11, it's going to start at 11:15. Those are 4 workshops. One is service to the man is whatever that is, service to the mankind, is service to God. In arts and crafts, that particular location, you can check the map. We have being his instrument. I'm just taking short names of these workshops. That is going to be here in Devotional Hall. We have how to connect with Swami. That is in the dome in the back side. And the 4th one is Sai Parenting Workshop, which is also going to be in the dome on the front side. That, and then there is of course YA workshops in the YA hall. So there are 4 workshops for others, then there are YA workshops. All of them starting, at least the adult workshops are starting at YA at 11:15 to 12:30. And then we'll back again as per the schedule, 1:15 for the next session and 1 o'clock for the poster sessions. The lunch time is a little bit reduced by 15 minutes. So I'm sure all of us are fine with that because our spiritual nourishment is so huge. So with that, okay, let's break, and within 10 minutes, I guess, you need to be at the workshops wherever you want to be. Sai Ram.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे ओम जय जगदीश समस्तलोका
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय। परमं पवित्रं भावं